Good evening and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host, Rian Hobson, and we have actually a very good day of trading today. Look, it was actually one hell of a day. One, it was the gold price. It's actually still sinking. It's at 1985. And then we have crude oil prices that are basically down by 10%. We have Brent actually down by another 10%. Natural gas, okay, it's still actually going quite okay. But gold on the other side is actually down by 3.28% or 3.3%. Actually, silver is also down by 3%. That is exactly what I said this morning on my radio podcast, that I said that gold prices will go down, oil prices will go down, and that is all to do with the war. It looks like it's coming to an end. So please, there's a link below for my radio. It's every day at 10 o'clock. It is Mixlers. There's a link below. Click on it, register, so that you can get my information in the mornings. Like in the evening, it's just actually an update of what happened during the day. But in the morning, I actually do a podcast and analysis of the whole entire day. And there I can be a bit more explicit. It's not like here that I have to trim my words every single time. There I can talk whatever I want. So if you don't like swearing, don't register. But if you like swearing, please actually do register. That is where I actually do my market analysis on there. But today was actually a very good day for the indexes, for the forex market, especially for the euro and also the British pound. It was a really spectacular day. But now, just before I actually go on, this is actually very important. I don't know you guys familiar with this story, but the Russian proposed nationalizing foreign-owned factories that shut operations. So this is companies that actually left because of the sanctions in Russia, and these companies will get nationalized. There's a lot of things that are actually getting nationalized, like McDonald's. There's also other factories that will get nationalized. This is all to do with the Russians. The people that actually left, they're taking all that stuff or all that companies, and now they nationalize it so that it stays in Russia, because obviously you left, so you will get nothing out. That was actually for me very interesting. And then the WTI drops to a day's low after the UAE calls for OPEC to increase production. Now they want actually OPEC to increase production. I don't know if that's possible, because the general secretary of OPEC was saying that it's impossible to replace actually 10 million barrels per day. And that is what Russia produces. It's basically impossible to do that in the short period of time. So the UAE was asking actually OPEC to increase the oil production. On the other side also, that's why the oil prices are going down drastically. It's also to do with the Iran deal that's wait for final decision for negotiation to return to the capital. So that with Iran, they also actually try to get this nuclear deal out of the way so that Iran can distribute their oil to the market. I don't know, will that be good enough actually for the market with Iran and Russia out of the way? I'm basically not sure. But oil prices are actually going down deep. And that is all to do with the war that's come to an end. And that is also to do with Iran that's going to get, possibly, it looks like they will get it done where they will actually pump their oil up to the market. And then also the UAE that actually proposed that they must actually produce more oil, or the OPEC members must produce more oil. Now, I'm just not sure, will that be possible? Because look, there's quite a lot of barrels that is off the table, but the oil prices are dropping. But I don't think the oil prices will actually go below $100 a barrel. There's still a high demand, and there's still a bit of a squeeze that is actually going on there. On the gold side, that is exactly what I said this morning on my radio podcast. The link is below. Click on that, register for yourself, and you can listen to my analysis on how I will trade on the day. So please don't forget, it's actually on Mixler. Now, I did say the gold price will actually go down, and it will go down drastically. And that has all to do with the war situation that is currently going on there. You can see here the gold price is actually down by 3%. Crude oil is actually, it reversed slightly. It actually was down by 10%. And then you have gold that is also down. It looks like it can continue. Oil, I'm just not so sure about where can oil go. But definitely for the gold will actually definitely go to about 1800. That is just my projection that I would actually look at. Gold, look for me, can go to 1800 easily, and that has all to do with the war that actually gives in in Ukraine. The sad thing about what happens in Ukraine actually is that this guy now terms, Zelensky is negotiating terms now with Russia on a neutral state where there was opportunity for him in the first place to do it. After the people now get lost their lives, infrastructure is totally messed up. Now all of a sudden the guy negotiated now for a neutral state. It just doesn't make sense. But at the end, well, they're negotiating after all the madness, and that's why there was a relief trade today, and that's why everything actually goes up. The NASDAQ, I still have the potential of going up. I think it can actually go up again tomorrow. The NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, the stocks, look, the stocks, the Australian dollar and all of those currencies, the indexes, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, all of them suffered because of the war. And now that the war is out of the way, or it looks like it's totally out of the way because they're going to agree now on a neutral state for Ukraine, it looks like your indexes will continue to go up. And then also the euro, which was the big one that pushed very hard today, actually up by nearly 2%. Euro, the British pound, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, those three currencies will definitely continue unless something weird is happening. The Canadian dollar as well, that also got a beating by the US dollar. That one, the Canadian, also look actually strong. The dollar index is basically down by a 1.16%. The dollar actually got a heavy beating today, and I think the beating will continue. There was also some terrible news that came out of the United States with job opening. There's about 4.8 million job openings in the United States. It just shows that the people don't want to work in the United States, or they just don't care anymore. So they don't want to work, and that's why you have so much job openings coming. There's a floodgate of news that are bad for the United States. And on top of that, they need to raise up the interest rate because the inflation rate is very high. So things that doesn't look good for the United States. And I think this is a temporary slowdown for the dollar. It's just actually to squeeze away or to push away all the war buying that went on. So the dollar will just actually go back to normal, and then afterwards the dollar will start to increase. That is all to do now of what the Federal Reserve is basically saying. And also, before I actually leave, the cryptos is actually on fire now. All of a sudden, yesterday, I actually needed to buy my first cryptocurrencies. So I bought actually a few of them actually yesterday, and it was actually quite fun. They're actually sitting at about 5% now. I must say it's not for the faint-hearted to buy actually your crypto portfolio, but I actually got a few. But I must say Bitcoin is on fire, and I think this is actually the time for cryptos to go up. Now that things are out of the way, that is where you will see your cryptos will go up, because inflation is still a problem, and normally people go in because they think the money will get worthless, and that's why people are buying cryptos. So that's why I bought cryptos myself, obviously for that reason. And the other thing is also for the game. As a few of you know, I'm actually bringing out the first Forex game in the world, in which I will explain maybe in due time for you of how it will work, and maybe a possibility that you will invest in it, but I will explain that on a different location or different time for you. But that's why I needed to learn about the crypto world, although I can read about it, but I don't understand it. I don't know practically how it works. So I needed to go to get myself cryptos and to understand how it works, because the game will function in that way. But the cryptos look good to go. I would say buy your cryptos, sell your gold, sell your dollar, buy your euro, buy your British pound. I don't know about oil. I would say be careful there, but definitely sell gold, buy euro, buy British pound, buy your cryptos, sell the United States dollar, because you don't need your safe havens anymore. So that is it from my side. I hope you guys enjoy it and enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.